First up tonight in campaign 2018.
I read them quickly because it was actually, I saw the ballot.
Next Tuesday's election could reshape the future in the Naugatuck Valley. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight at 5:30. I'm Mark Zinni.
And I'm Denise DeCenzo. There are a number of ballot questions in one town. Channel 3 New Haven Bureau Chief Matt McFarland is live with the mobile newsroom now to explain. Matt?
Well, Denise and Mark, we're talking about big changes to the town charter that Seymour's roughly 11,000 voters will take up next week. And we're talking about term limits and potentially putting in a new form of town government. In Seymour, it's not just candidates on next week's ballot, but also questions.
I read them real quickly, and so I kind of formed an opinion about the ones that I read.
The Charter Review Commission came up with a number of proposals that voters will take up next week, including potentially big changes to the First Selectman's office, which has a 2-year term limit right now.
Get somebody in the job, 2 years, you're really getting up to speed.
Voters will decide on whether or not to make it a 4-year term, starting with next year's election, along with limiting the First Selectman to 3 consecutive terms.
Yeah, I read through them, and so I thought about them. I thought it was a good idea, some of the questions to set limits. I always felt limits were good for all levels of government.
Evelyn Roy just voted this morning. Her husband is a former First Selectman in town. Another question looks at whether or not the Board of Selectmen should study switching to a town manager form of government. In that case, you'd have an elected council or board that handles the legislative side while hiring a town manager who would run the day-to-day operations, essentially acting as the town's chief executive.
I don't know too much about that, but I think it's an interesting proposal to try. It's hard for someone who works full-time to give up their job to take this over full-time.
Another question includes whether or not to amend the town charter to set term limits for all elected boards. While some say it will get more people involved in politics and government, others say you could lose experienced people.
Yeah, I like term limits, generally. So I would be, term limits, yes, I think.
Now in Seymour, there are 8 town ballot questions. That's in addition to the 2 statewide questions that everyone will vote on. We're live with the mobile newsroom. Matt McFarland, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.